Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Rishi Sunak really is going to be hoist with his own petard. He's done the best he can to oust Boris Johnson. He's done that. He was successful. He's then gone on in a very petty-minded way to punish and punish and punish him until eventually Boris and his allies have had enough. They've upped sticks and they've quit. Well done, Rishi. Well done. Of course, the problem you've got now is that there's going to be a series of by-elections, and it's looking like you're going to lose every single one. And with each by-election lost, it's looking as though your position becomes more and more untenable. You are already despised by the membership of the party, and about half the parliamentary party dislike you as well. So a series of election defeats will more or less be the icing on the cake. It will be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Well, this particular camel is okay. He can bring up his wife and sod off to America because he's got his green card, and she is a billionaire who doesn't pay tax in this country. So we'll have a look at this to see why he is in trouble, to see where these three elections are going, and to see what might happen to Rishi. Here goes. So Tories face by-election triple whammy. Unofficial pact between Labour and the Lib Dems could see the Conservatives lose 3 seats, pollster says. And they aren't the only ones, of course, because once the ones that have been promoted up to the Lords go, there's another 3, possibly 3, definitely 2, possibly 3 by-elections there. And they'd only be expected to win one of them. So, you know, that could be a big swing from Tory to any other party, really. So it's not looking good for Rishi Sunak if he has 5 electoral defeats on the trot. Anyway, an unofficial pact between Labour and the Lib Dems could see the Tories lose 3 seats vacated by Boris Johnson and his allies, a major pollster said yesterday. The former Prime Minister's seat in Uxbridge and South Ruislip should be a breeze for Sir Keir Starmer's party to overturn, according to Ben Page, the chief executive of the polling firm Ipsos. But the other by-elections, triggered by Mid-Bedfordshire Nadine Dorries and Selby and Anstey's Nigel Adams, could see the Conservatives lose massive majorities due to tactical voting. The Tories have already fallen victim to either Labour or Lib Dems standing down to benefit the other in several by-elections of this Parliament. And it will likely happen again. If you've got one where Labour is just basically going to win it and so nothing is needed, and that'll be the Uxbridge and South Ruislip, Boris's old haunt, you've got that one. But then the other 2 could split, and one could say, well, look, you know, you take Mid-Beds, Labour will stand down, and the Lib Dems will say, right, you take Anstey, and we'll stand down. And if there's only one opposition party, then, you know, that just is basically becomes, you're not, you know, the voters aren't voting for a party, they're voting against the Tories, and that will get that Tory seat taken away. It reduces his majority, and with it, his authority. Not just his authority to rule the country, but also his authority as leader of the Conservatives. Now, he will be already viewed with some suspicion over this whole Boris thing and the fact that he's fighting to keep hold of the WhatsApp messages, because he knows that there's all the planning and all the backsliding and everything, all the dirty, grubby deals that were done as he was trying to oust Boris. And he doesn't want that coming out, because the Tories, if nothing else, they don't like disloyalty. There's a lot of things they will put up with, but that's one they don't. I don't care about being disloyal to the country, but they talk about being disloyal to the party. But they have this problem. So Rishi's got this major problem in that he's already, like I say, he's already despised by the membership who didn't vote for him. Membership did not vote for this man. It was a stitch-up within the parliamentary party, and it really has rankled a lot of the sort of the groundswell support within the party. And you can understand why. You know, you expect to be able to vote on who your own leader is, and then that is taken completely out of your hands. It's like a coup d'etat. But anyway, we have that, and then, like I say, then you still got the Boris supporters, and the Tories are riven by a lot of splits. There's splits on Brexit, there's splits on the way that COVID was done, there's splits on the leadership, there's splits on all areas of policy, left, right and centre. They are a party imploding. And much as he's an awful man, the only person who could possibly save them is Boris, and they've done their best to get rid of him because, well, who knows? There could be any number of reasons. I mean, not that he's a good man or anything, but he is the face that can sail that ship. He's the only captain they've got, really. And so, with him gone, everyone else is seeing the Tories for what they are. Incredibly vulnerable. Even though they've got that big majority, of course, was a Boris vote, not a Tory vote. So they could be in a lot of trouble. Anyway, the Tories are getting on, with this. Anyway, so Mr. Page told Sky's Sophie Ridge on Sunday programme they, the Lib Dems, might do it in mid-beds. There is a huge majority there, 24,000, but they've done things like that before in Amersham in 2021. It does require Labour in that seat to really stand down. It requires a fair amount of tactical voting. And I think they'd be prepared to do it. I think because it's a 1 and a 1, they just simply swap, don't they? You just go, no, we'll do one each. End of story. They each get their extra MP, and they each give the Tories a bloody nose. It's simple. He says, I think the challenge in this situation is, now that we're much closer to the general election, is Labour really going to stand aside? In Selby and Anstey, he said, where the Tories have a 20,000 majority, the Lib Dems might decide not to bother too much there and leave it to Labour to have a go at flipping the constituency. Both Labour and the Lib Dems insisted they were set to fight to win every by-election and rejected any notion of an unofficial electoral pact. But they say that, but it doesn't mean, of course, that that's going to happen, because they might put someone up in the seat, but then say, yeah, it's just a paper candidate. Don't go knocking on any doors, and we're not even issuing a leaflet. That's what happens. So you have a paper candidate only. Although it has been noted that paper candidates have gone on to win before, much to the shock of the candidate, it must be said. Luke Trill from the More in Common think tank said, while it won't be said openly, electoral logic means it's almost certain we'll see a repeat of the informal pact we saw in Tiverton and Wakefield by-elections, with Labour giving the Lib Dems a free run in Dorry's old seat, while the Lib Dems repay the Labour in favour in Hillingdon. The Tories have started knocking on doors in mid-beds already, with the party chairman Greg Hands and deputy chairman Luke Hall seen on the campaign trail yesterday. Lib Dem leader Sir Ed Davey will visit today, hoping to overturn a 30,000 deficit to the Tories from the 2019 election. Now, mid-beds, I used to live near there, and it is a very blue heartland. It's a very rural seat, and it is sort of what you would consider a Tory voting area, but they didn't get the absolute majority, and it was enough there. Let's put it this way. If the Lib Dems stood down, or rather if Labour stood down in Nadine Dorries' seat, there is enough against the Tories that could swing it and get the Lib Dems in. It is just there. And I think it would be a shock for Rishi if all three of these seats went. And to be honest, I think it would be a pertinent lesson to any party. Don't screw with your leadership. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. And then whatever you do, don't have a coup d'etat and put in a despised little man that nobody wants against the wishes of the vast majority of the membership, because it never ends well. And how he's remained in power for this long, nobody knows. But it's almost certain that come the general election, Rishi Sunak, if he hasn't gone before it, will be gone on the morning after. By 10 o'clock on the Friday morning, Rishi Sunak will be gone after the next election. That's even if he's still there at the time the election is due to be fought. Anyway, that's Lou. I'll come up and we'll round off this video. There is a truism in the Tory party, and they've said this about many Tory prime ministers in the past. And I believe it was Margaret Thatcher who summed it up and said that when you stand as Prime Minister of the Tory party, and you know, as the Tory Prime Minister, she said, and you look out into Parliament, she says, you must remember that in front of you is the opposition. The enemy is behind you. She says, because it's very rarely that a Labour MP or a Labour leader will take down the leader of the Conservative Party. 9 times out of 10, it's the Conservative Party taking down the leader of the Conservative Party. She said it's very rarely the other way. And she has never been proven more right after all what happened to her. A woman who never lost a vote, and she was taken out. Well, Sunak has lost votes. Sunak has lost confidence. Sunak is losing seats and Sunak is losing the party. And it is a question of time. And like I say, I don't even know if he'll last until the next election. But the Tories are in absolute disarray. They haven't had a decent leader in a long time. And yet, here they are. They're still struggling along. And if he goes, if Sunak goes, they'll have had 4 leaders in 6 years. 4 in 6. It's unbelievable, isn't it? But hey, you know, the talent's not there anymore. And it's not just the Tories. The talent is gone across all political parties. There is no political giants left in British politics, I'm afraid. It's a sad reflection of the time we live in, but it is nonetheless true. Anyway, I shall finish there. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see and hear on the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Leave a like, leave a comment, please. Share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well. Keep watching the Rishi Sunak show because I think he will go soon. And goodbye.